Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summer presentation of the MDL Dota 2 Major Qualifiers for South America. It's going to be Changsha Major coming up here in a few months, and this is going to be round one of that Group B South American Qualifier. So the way this all breaks down is that the winner of this match will go ahead and face off against the winner of the match that we got to cast previously, which was Midas Gaming. So, being able to win 2 matches in a row will put them as the top seed going into the playoffs for this essentially single elimination bracket. Just goes down the line based on how you performed in your initial GSL group. So SG Esports, they're able to take this game, take the next match, and they're going to be essentially in the semifinals of the playoffs coming up in the next few days. But Gorillaz-Pride, they had a bit of a rocky start. They want to try to bring it back. They want to try to bring it to a deciding Game 3. I'm sure they have the capability to do that, but they need to step it up. They need to really change how they move on the map, how they look at the game, and how they try to take these fights. So go ahead and jump on into it. We do have ourselves a nice little mix-up in terms of heroes. SG Esports going for Tiny, Disruptor, and Tusk. Yeah, very different from what they had previously. I would say that, I mean, maybe you can kind of say the Tusk has some similarities to Elder Titan, but generally speaking, these are completely different heroes that they're playing. In the meantime, Naga Siren, Lifestealer, and Death Prophet also going to be a significantly different variation on what we got to see in the previous game. Nature Prophet also coming out here. I think SG are much more in the comfort zone, and you know, in this way they can say, okay, if we do end up winning so many different lanes like we did before, we can translate that into faster tower pressure and even more potential to take the game fast. So it's going to be a bit of a push action between the Death Prophet and the Nature's Prophet. Furion being much more consistent in his output, with the Death Prophet having just more burst potential with the Exorcism. No Lifestealer carrier, though. That's the big thing here is Death Prophet isn't the kind of hero to blink into the fray. Isn't really trying to start a fight in that capacity, so Lifestealer needs to find somebody else to pal around with and consider a taxi service into the action, and try to make use of that infest ability. Been seeing a lot more Radiance Lifestealer in multiple regions, and I think that's something that you need to try to get a couple of early kills to make sure that your Radiance timing isn't like 20-some minutes into the game. You really just need to kind of keep pace and make sure that you're not kind of half irrelevant for the vast majority of the gameplay. Probably go for a Quelling Blade this game, just against the Nature's Prophet. It's pretty reasonable for a melee carry to do so. And kind of from there, you focus on last hitting until you kind of get to level 6 and try to go for some kill focus. Naga Siren is an interesting hero because you need kind of some synergy. You can't just kind of go on your own. It's like, okay, Meteor Hammer is a cool item. You can kind of generate some solo initiations that way. But where's the follow-up? It looks like it's going to be in the Tide Hunter. Naga Siren into Ravage, Anchor Smash. Going to be able to do a pretty good job of things. Just trying to kind of clear out the fights. You can get a silence on top of things as well. Will be just beautiful. Blink Dagger also a key item for Tide Hunter, so that means that you are going to be able to get some Infest Bombs, but not until quite a bit later. No natural initiation right now. Yeah, so Mechanism and Blink Dagger are going to be key pickups for the Tide for multiple reasons. Trying to survive through the initial burst of the fray, with Tiny having a really powerful Avatos. A Nature Prophet ultimate coming through, like that's already half your HP at least. So I think Mechanism is still very important in this game. Blink Dagger is much more for when Lifestealer wants to make things happen. Still, I like Tide as a whole. He can't get his ultimate off during Static Storm, so like Crack and Chill doesn't negate everything, and in the end you still have to be kind of cautious of your positioning. But the hero as a whole just is very naturally durable and is good for clearing out treants with his Anchor Smash. Where to go from here, though? You've got your offlaner. You need pretty much a 5-position support that can follow up on the Naga Siren. We saw a little bit of Jakiro in the previous series. Jakiro, Naga Siren having some synergies, most certainly, as well as being good at counter-pushing against the Nature's Prophet, but not great at killing the Nature's Prophet necessarily, unless he's really out of position. It's a tough call. Bane gets banned out as well as the Pugna. Looks like SG are going to be getting their last pick mid laner, most likely. Tiny can mid, Furion can mid, but ideally you get a safe lane Tiny and off lane Prophet, and you can get even something that's even more devastating to get lane against that Nature's Prophet. Or Death Prophet. Where's my head at? Viper did get banned out earlier, so that's not going to be the option, but still plenty of great mid-heroes in the pool. Shadow Fiend has been seen both games in the past 2 or 3. 40 seconds left on the clock. Gorillaz-Pride. Pride on the line. They do not want to get 2-0 down to the lower bracket here. They want to fight their way through it. And it's going to start with this pick. Let's see if they've got what it takes with this support grab. Witch Doctor, previously picked up, now completely ignored throughout. And they go for the Jakiro, aforementioned. So, Jakiro able to follow up very nicely with the Naga Siren, adds a little bit of consistent push to their lineup with the Liquid Fire, and can also clear out the Nature's Prophet pressure. So, like, you can just solo TP a Jakiro to the lane to defuse Nature's Prophet's push. Maybe not when it's like 30, 40 minutes in the game. Nature's Prophet has way too many items to deal with. But early on, it's definitely possible that you can kind of break the rat down just with Jakiro or Tidehunter moving to a different lane. Alrighty, 1 minute left on the clock here. Going to be looking for most likely the mid laner. Shadow Fiend seems fine. Dragon Knight actually feels really good here. Why don't we go Dragon Knight? Nope, Troll Warlord. This is going to be a fast game, boys. This is either a very fast game, or it's a tooth and nail 45-minute plus. Like, this game could go so quickly. With Nature's Prophet and Troll Warlord and Tiny, all designed to just obliterate towers, it really comes down to Gorillaz-Pride making some really key team fights happen very quickly, I gotta say. I actually would say the Radiance build might be just too much of a fool's gold at this point. It's just kind of a honeypot of, okay, well, you can go for that. You could be a tremendously powerful hero once you've saved over 4,500 gold. But you're not doing anything for a long time before that. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling that. But at the very least, I think that when Moose hits level 6, you are going to be seeing a lot of potential for team fights. And I think there's going to be some great potential for those exchanges. I want to see what this Naga Siren is capable of if she can get off to a good start. So, as we get into the game, we'll take a look and see what they can really bring to bear. Opening up with a nice little pause here. Alrighty, so we're going to have Pekko on the Disruptor. He was the one playing the Ancient Apparition last game. Hard support here from him. Doesn't start off with a Clarity, so not going to get a lot of Thunder Strikes off too early on, but pulls a lot of Tangos and does have at least a Mango to kind of trade against this Tidehunter with. This implies to me that Tusk does not want to be on the bottom lane. The Tusk wants to be roaming. He wants to be elsewhere. He's going to start with that Orb of Venom, and he's going to be anywhere but bottom. Tidehunter is a very difficult hero for a solo support to zone out, and so being able to take a few hits back and forth between him and the Tide, while Tide is still level 1, is going to be kind of making the difference if he can actually zone him out or not. In the meantime, Leposa is going to be your off-laner. He's got a Orb of Venom too. So you've got Tusk and Nature's Prophet on the Orb of Venom, obviously the melee one being much more effective, but still allowing a lot of little pokes and prods to come in from Furion. 40R on the mid lane, going for that Quelling Blade here. And, sorry about that, actually. I think he's going to be going for... It's hard to say. Originally, when I saw the draft, I thought that Tiny would be going for the safe lane. But you see the pool Tangos, and you just immediately think, okay, we're supporting a mid laner. He's going to have Magic Stick, which is good against the Tide. It's okay. I guess it's okay against the Death Prophet. She does have a relatively low mana cost nuke, but you're expecting a lot of Anchor Smashes, so the Magic Stick just makes more sense there. But Costabile makes his way down. He's queuing up the Quelling Blade and the stick as well. And yeah, it's going to be a safe lane Troll Warlord. It's going to be a mid lane Tiny. Alrighty. Should be pretty interesting, this game. On the other side, talked about SG plenty. We're going to look over at G-Pride. Moose going to be starting off with a Windlace. K1 on the life slow, currently heading towards bottom. And yeah, I like this. Tide going top. So they're going to actually try to go for a bit of an aggro try here. And it's pretty much going to be make or break. If they can get an advantage over this Troll Warlord, then they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And this is going to force the Tusk down bottom, where he was intending to roam. Like I said, I don't think the Tusk wants to be bottom whatsoever, but if the Tide's top, he's probably not getting anything done top either, so it's going to be a lot more mid and try on try. At this point, I'm sure they see a lot of aggression, a lot of this play from the supports, and they're thinking, okay, something's up, something's different, and hopefully they'll be able to get a read on the fact that it is going to be a very contested bottom lane. I think this favors Nature's Prophet getting a lot of farm, though. Like, Tide will get his farm, of course, but just little Orb of Venom right clicks here and there. I think that Nature's Prophet's going to be pretty happy. And Theolikar actually chases Greedy off the rune. They get 2 runes for 2. They lose out theirs, and I thought that might be an opportunity for G-Pride to contest for a 3rd bounty rune. Instead, they go for 2 for 2. And Theolikar gets both for the team. Nature's Prophet down bottom. Decides to dodge the try if you try. They say, okay, you want to throw your off laner in the safe lane? We'll do the same. And just essentially create what would have been the default laning configuration. This is definitely going to involve mid lane a lot more as a result. Like, okay, if you have just a solo safe laner on both sides, then that means that there's going to be a lot more roaming between the Naga and the Tusk towards that mid. Leposa a little bit more vulnerable here, though. We'll have to see if he's able to kind of get off to the start that he wanted. Actually, some decent damage coming in already. Just kind of going in, whirling axes, and forcing a TP back after the Ice Shards. So Healing Salve and TP already expended. Well, I would say that Leposa is much more vulnerable. It does seem like that has changed a lot. Nice little Ice Shards here. Isolates Masoku, but you don't really want to catch yourself off the tower too far, and the dual breath plus open wound slow is quite substantial. Nature's probably getting a lot of little pokes in here on the Lifestealer, though, with these treants. And there's not really anything to feast on in this lane. So it's going to take a while for him to get that back. Tango by Tango. Greedy, though, going to get Whirling Death under tower, and they're going to go ahead and just make sure that he can't go through the gap in the tree line with that kinetic field. Now, Greedy only has Kraken Shell, and yeah, he's in a really rough spot. Gets level 2, gets his Anchor Smash, but still a lot of good damage coming in from Costabile, and he'll switch to melee form. Going in, just a few more right clicks coming in, dropping Greedy down to just a couple hundred HP. Meantime, though, Theolikar very low. One last right click would have done it, but the Healing Salve brings him back up just above the threshold, and he will survive. In the meantime, Naga Siren is your first kill, and the tower claims it for the first blood. Split among the two. Also does have to TP back at this point, but he has a scroll, and will be back in action at full HP in just a moment. Where does Moose go? Moose tried to TP out, so it does mean that he's going to have a long walk back to the lane. So, while I said that I expected a lot more action on the mid lane as a result, they ended up just bringing the Tusk down bottom to help out against the tri-lane. And the end result is actually a full-on duel between the two mids. They don't have anything to worry about on the sidelines. It's just 15-3 on the Tiny, 9-4 on the Death Prophet, no disruptions. Although Naga Siren does have relatively higher armor, 9 right now under tower, you have to keep in mind she doesn't have a Stout Shield against these little hits from the treants. Oh, actually, 4DR has to Avalanche to try to keep them back. Does have Magic Wand, will keep him up just enough to survive against the onslaught, while Masoku takes quite a bit himself in return. But yeah, Moose has high armor, but every little right click counts with these treants, and with Orb of Venom and Blightstone, he's still going to be taking quite a bit without a Stout Shield. Yeah. Good attempt from Masoku, though. I like him trying to get involved, trying to make something happen. Doesn't work out in the end, but yeah, just continuing to pressure back the Nature's Prophet and keep him in a little bit of a weird spot, but his HP pool gets shredded, and he has no HP regen left. Sure, Masoku is the flank, but now Masoku is the one getting flanked, and it looks like he's going to be going down. Snowball does not bring Theolikar to the high ground, but the death is still his to claim. So 21-3. They're winning mid just based on CS alone. They've got 2 kills down bottom now. And, oh, actually, Open Wood's coming out here. Leposa TP's away, and he's got his scroll off cooldown, so it's essentially cost him 50 gold for a full HP and mana restore. You can't beat that. Tide Hunter caught. He got Glyphs back already, so it looks like he is just going to be able to TP away, no problem. And Avalanche, actually, just to keep the Chris Brown off the rune. 40R now has a haste rune, which is pretty good if he has vision. He does have vision right now. He might just haste up to Chris Brown, toss him back onto the range creep, and see what he can do. His avalanche is cooling down. I think he go for some crazy plays here in just a second. There is no silence available, but wait for the opportunity. Is it going to be enough, though? Chris Brown has no mana right now. He doesn't go for anything. Just holding that haste room. Even Disruptors here, I think this is definitely a kill potentially. They have vision from the reward up to this point. They should know exactly how the Death Prophet is moving and see an opportunity with this rune. Disruptor kind of makes for a break right down mid. And just poking, harassing, just happy to win out the lane in CS alone. So we'll keep our eyes elsewhere. Maybe he wants to save the TP scroll, the haste rune for a TP down bottom. This rune is still very valuable in this hero's hands, though. That's for sure. Alright. Some decent damage coming into Greedy. Not sure if it's going to be enough. In the meantime, Leposa is kind of out here. Ensnare is available. Dual Breath already against him. They could definitely set up the open wounds here, but Masoku's taking way too much damage in the meantime and just gets caught inside the trees. Now snowballed up. We're going to see that hasted TP come into play, looking for the kill on the Lifestealer. Toss him up, right-click him down. But Leposa is not really helping. He's just letting the Tiny do his thing. And there's going to be the next Sprout. There's going to be the death of this Naga Siren. Tries to chew his way through the trees, but 40R meets him on the other side. And spends the remainder of the haste rune just heading back to mid. Enjoyed that. That was actually pretty good to reserve the haste rune for as long as he did, and even gets a bottle refill with the bounty runes. He gets 4 free bottle sips out of that, and then he gets the Invis rune. How lucky can you get? Actually goes back onto the Jakiro, but Jakiro's staying on top of him and continues to drop the liquid fire. I guess we should talk about that a little bit. Grow, obviously, as a passive, reduces the Tiny's attack speed by quite a bit as time goes by. It will have 50 reduced attack speed at level 18, and the Jakiro can reduce that by another 60. So it's actually going to be really hard for the Tiny to keep damage coming in that way. Leposa needs to separate himself from the Lifestealer, but with that Quelling Blade available, the Sprout's not really going to help. It's going to be the Invis rune and the Tiny going in for the assassination. And now with the Snowball also available, they don't even need it. The Wrath of Nature jumps through and grabs Masoku by the ears. Gossabile, on the other hand, is going to get ensnared here. Greedy does have an Anchor Smash, but there's really no kill potential against this troll right now. 11 Magic Wand charges. Feeling fine, feeling frisky, and topping out CS now. That Tiny has made his way away down bottom. Using his tree for all it's worth, just bashing this thing down, and you're going to see your first tier 1 drop here before the 8-minute mark. Meanwhile, Pekko soaking up mid, trying to make up for some lost experience. It is going to be Chris Brown dropping some damage with this Exorcism. And with the Ensnare, it is going to be a kill. Disruptor in too far, glimpses him right back onto the tower. And going to be the death of the Disruptor. Meantime, tier 1 tower has fallen, and Greedy is actually a little bit too far forward here. Does have Magic Wand, does have Anchor Smash. Is it going to be enough with the Phase Boots movement speed to stay on top of him? 2 more right clicks needed. He jukes in the tree line here. Tries to get vision with the Whirling Axes ×2. Thinks he's juked him in the trees. He's actually made his way far from it. Is that a scan? Why did the Dire just scan? What? Okay, Tusk gets killed off by the Death Prophet. We're watching the Nation Prophet get gunned down inside his trees. And that's going to be that. Tusk, having been in the mid lane just a little bit too far forward against this Death Prophet's use of the Spirit Sight. So, very active game. Lots of kills all over the place. Love to see it. But a couple of interesting things. I'm not sure if that scan was like a misclick. I don't know. Maybe they really did get some intel out of that. I can't really tell you. But either way, Ravage going to be committed to finish off the Troll Warlord. And, you know, he's had such a clean landing phase that they really need to do something to throw him for a bit of a loop. In the end, though, I think he's still pretty happy with where he's at. You know, they commit the Ravage, they get a kill. Meantime, down bottom, might just be a freebie, Rage TP, and no Glimpse. So Rage actually lasts 3 seconds exactly, and obviously the channel time for Town Portal Scroll is 3 seconds. in theory, you should be able to just spam your glimpse and get him at the very tail end of it, since those two things don't happen simultaneously. But, oh well. Lifestealer does escape. Maybe the Disruptor had just assumed that it was more than level 1 Rage. In either case, he skedaddles on out of there and looks to make up his losses in the jungle. He is going to be going for this Radiance build-up. And time will tell if that's the right call. It just takes so long to get there. He does have a Quelling Blade here, greedy. Gets through the trees, only to get into the Thunderdome. The kinetic field locks him out, and Moose makes probably an ill-advised TP. He gets glimpsed, he gets sent. I like that Peko made sure that it had been at least 4 seconds since Moose had TP'd in here. He doesn't want to send Salvation, he wants to send him back to the fountain. And so he does. Masoku, on the other hand, caught inside the kinetic field. Body blocks coming in for Peko. Gonna be enough as they do get the Sprout here onto the hero. One by one, they all fall down. And now Tide finally makes his way up top of 40Rs here. Guys, you have now died 4 times. I'm counting this one. 4 times, 1 by 1. At some point, you let the tower go. Greedy, getting a little greedy. And what, Jakiro? No, please, no, Jakiro. Please, oh my gosh. What are they doing? I mean, they got to kill the Nature's Prophet in return, but are you serious, guys? Like, this is not how you play Dota 2. You can't just go 1 by 1 by 1. There's 4 heroes here. I mean, I'm glad they got the Nature's Prophet eventually, but they did not win the exchange. I'll just leave it at that. K1 gets some time to farm down bottom. Some TP scrolls are used. A tower falls. Multiple heroes fall. Most of them diers. Smoke play coming out here from the mid lane. And looking for an opportunity here. Death Prophet has the exorcism. They need to make use of it. Costval looks like a good target to open on. He's a little close to his tier 1, but they should still be able to get him. No, the smoke breaks. He walks right up into them, and it looks like that is going to be a kill. X committed. This kill guaranteed. And they should try to translate this into the tier 1 tower bottom. Tide can make his way over in about 15 seconds, and he does have that Ravage available. In the meantime, though, Blink Dagger already up for the Tiny. He's making his way up top. So tier 1 gone. SG know when to let a tower go. That thing is not salvageable. And instead, they look at mid. They need the Disruptor here, though. And this tower is practically gone already. No glyph available. The Illicore starts it off with the Walrus Punch. They go for toss them together inside the Static Storm. Beautiful combo from the Tiny. Drops down both the Jakiro and the Tide without an answer. And now, right in their faces, Leposa TPs in. Is going to get a lot of damage in the process, though. Song of Siren now coming through. Leposa tries to get closer to the song. Please sing to me, sweetheart. But Moose does not give him the pleasure. Instead, letting him fall to the Lifestealer, and then, of course, Naga Siren getting isolated here in the river. I like that. Just barely running on the edge. 3 heroes songed, and 1 caught on the outside. Nai is not available here, as Costable just does a little bit too much right-click damage, but they might be able to finish him off. Yeah, inside the Macropyre, Spirit Siphon, and the Gush, they'll be able to take that troll down. And Dire did take that tier 1 mid. That did end up get taken down, maybe to Liquid Fire. But yeah, the big thing was making sure that Jakiro and Tide were both in the Static Storm. Because as mentioned, Ravage, he cannot come out in that Static Storm, Track and Chill or not. And so you really need to make sure you always Static Storm the Tide. But being able to get a toss in the Jakiro to get both of them in it was just super value. I really love that play from 40R, unveiling the Blink Dagger as he did. 2,000 net worth favoring G-Pride, or favoring SG, apologies. And a little bit in terms of experience. Not as much as you'd think, actually. The experience is still not too bad for G-Pride. They're at least spreading themselves out and farming the jungle quite efficiently. I think a big part of it is just the Death Prophet. Death Prophet's top XP per minute, 440, is now level 11. And she's been like soloing the lane constantly. She has not left mid for almost anything. Dire trying to invade the Radiant jungle. Radiant poking their head towards the Dire secret shop. Getting some good wards down on both sides. Really good vision information for Gorillaz-Pride. But they might not see this flank coming. There's 5 heroes here. This might be the first big Ravage of the game coming up. It's a phase boot Tide. He's definitely going to get in position for it. But it's a full smoke, and the Disruptor is ready. Radiant scan over there. They wanted to make sure that they had what they needed. They see the Exorcism pop in mid, though, and it looks like they're just going to go up top. And say, okay, Leposa can finish this off. If there's any response TPs, then we'll kill him. And this is a good position to be in, because if they can get vision on the high ground here, then they can actually glimpse back anybody. But as you can see, it's actually going to be Peko making his way back to the Radiant side and glimpsing back the Death Prophet. Now the Ravage coming through, fakes it twice, realizes it's not the time for it, and Death Prophet's just going to get healed up to full by her spirits here. No more glimpses coming through. Everybody just kind of heads back. It's going to be a tier 2 up top with essentially no chip damage on the tier 3 in response for tier 2 and a half a tier 3. So G-Pride get the better of that, but in the meantime, Troll was poking at this one a little bit. The end result, though, I think actually G-Pride are pretty happy. As long as they get their Exorcism back up, and it has been quite a bit of time since she originally popped it. So now G-Pride have some really good offensive wards. They have the mid lane pushed in very effectively. Next one naturally would either be the tier 1 up top or the tier 2 down bottom. And we'll see which one kind of avails them. Peko trying to set up a kill opportunity here. It's a bit difficult, but a lot of magical damage coming in from 40R. And they still have to let it go. That Ravage counterplay is just too scary to go up against. So, Echo Saber going to come out soon for the Tiny. That's pretty much when this hero feels at his strongest. Level 12, Echo Saber Blink Dagger. This is gives him a lot of potential. Obviously, you can go, max out 25, get your Assault Cuirass, so on and so forth. But right now, with this Echo Saber, and as he gets this next level, he's doing probably his top of the curve raw damage output. His spells combo still does meaningful amount of damage. And just that double right click really hits hard. Still doesn't have it for this fight, though, as they make their smoke play forward. They get eyes on Greedy, I believe. They definitely see Chris Brown. They're just waiting for their opening. Will they glimpse back the Death Prophet? Will they see this hide? They just go for the Avalanche opening on the Death Prophet and kill her off easily. There's just no way that the Tide or the Jakiro could have been in there in time. Perhaps overcommitting with the Static Storm, to be honest with you, but they just wanted to make sure the kill happens, because then they get to push out every single side lane. Hood popped up by the Tide Hunter, now out of mana. And, not really a position where they want to be ravaging anything. This would be very difficult. They ravage, they go in. They're going to get the Disruptor out of it, but that might be it. The oil card does get slowed up by quite a few. It is going to be 2 kills, but they're losing their side lanes. Disruptor is just going to look to cancel some TPs back, as we see just pressure on the Dire base. Okay, 1 TP, 2 TPs, where the Disruptor, he's looking for it. Doesn't get any glimpses just yet. But in the meantime, we do have pressure on the bottom tier 3. There it is. Teleport in, and we have a 3 versus 2 here in the mid lane, flanking hard. Leposa gets Hurricane Pikes himself to the high ground, and now isolates Lifestealer, Quelling Blades out of the trees. The Tide Hunter will go down, and K1 does not have Rage! Oh, he's in a really bad spot now. Will be able to Rage and make his way across the river, but loses a lot of HP forward, and they have to Song to make sure that he gets out. A lot expended there. They end up losing vast majority of the tier 3 bottom, all of the tier 2 bottom, chip damage starting on the top lane as well. And now they have no Song for Roshan. Without a Song for Rosh, and without a Ravage for Rosh, they have no way of contesting this position. And this looks like it's just going to be a freebie for SG. Masoku also caught in an interesting position. But they're actually backing out, at least for the moment. They do have Exorcism. I say that they don't have a way of contesting in terms of disables and control, but walking in with a massive amount of damage can always work out. Just walk in, big dick swinging. But we do see, in the meantime, 40R poking to tier 3s. Leposa just ratting it out. They don't have the heroes in position to deal with this. And they also have to be worried about that glimpse. That glimpse comes out onto the Death Prophet, pulls her back to the high ground. She's caught inside the Static Storm, and she will be dropped down. Theolicor is going to be able to distance himself a little bit with the Walrus Punch, but in the end will go down. Leposa jumps forward and looks to isolate Masoku, who just TPs out. K1 now all by himself, but we're going to look over at 40R, who is going toe-to-toe with Greedy here, trying to just claim one barracks here, the ranged one. It's going to be, he has a haste rune, so he doesn't really have much to worry about. And he's just going to try to commit fully to finish it off. Toss and the right click, and he can haste himself away. In the meantime, a very prolonged kill, as the Lifestealer was still in jeopardy the whole time. Didn't find his window to slip away from that one. Haste rune needs to be popped very quickly from the Tiny. It's taken too long. What is he doing? I think he could have just walked away from that one, but he is distracting. In the meantime, the tier 3 will fall up top. SG just kind of running circles around their opponents in terms of just playing for a secondary objective. It's never the one thing on the screen that you have to be worried about. It's the two things that are happening somewhere else on the screen. It's like, okay, they're pushing in. Like, even when they're fighting around Roche Pit, they're pushing in on 2 different lanes. They've always got the TPs available. They're always looking to glimpse back somebody and find easy picks like they did with the Death Prophet here. Like, there's always another thing on their mind. And that multitasking is allowing them to just take everything across this map. They are losing a few kills here and there. They are spreading themselves a bit thin. But the end result is just overall so much stronger for them. Macropire in the pit. Ravage as well. Dire will claim Roshan. And the Aegis is still down. Who's going to get it? Leposa will grab it at the end of it. And Hurricane Pike his way out. But all these ultimates expended. And they have killed off the Troll. They have killed off the Tusk. And it looks like they'll get Disruptor twice as well. Or Disruptor as well. So, now, new job for Leposa. Just try to mitigate the push pressure coming in from G-Pride. They won't have Exorcism for the tier 3 tower in mid. And they don't have buyback on the Troll Warlord. So what they need to do is say, okay, they've expended all their ultimates. As long as I keep these treants pushing out top, then I should be able to make it impossible for them to take our tier 3. So, key movement there from G-Pride. The flanking Ravage, the in-your-face Macropire. Still very, very important usage of skills to win that fight. They take the Troll Warlord down, which I think is a key one. But in the end, where are they now? The Nature Prophet still has the Aegis. So it was only golden experience that went towards G-Pride. And with all these respawns coming out, I still can't say that they're in a better position. Ravage down for 98. Exorcism down for 95. Song's not going to be enough to delay it, even with the Macropire Ice Path combo. It's tough. It really is. I do think that they at least have a little bit of breathing room where I don't... While SG are enjoying the rat phase of this game, where they are taking good opportunities and putting out some good damage into the barracks, they don't feel like they need to end the game right now. SG, they have a Battle Fury Troll Warlord, and in the end, he's still farming very quickly. He can take out any amount of Ancient stacks in a very short span of time, with or without Battle Trance, really. So I think that Costabile is feeling pretty comfortable at this particular moment in the game, and he's not going to compel his team to make any unnecessarily offensive moves. So that Aegis isn't as scary as it could be, because I don't even know if SG want to commit to high ground with it. But in the end, SG are still playing where they want to. They're kind of making all the moves. And with ultimates on cooldown, G-Pride can only react. Shadow Blade up for Tiny. Actually going to be a jump here in mid that will bring Troll very low. Again, he doesn't have a BKB, just this Battle Fury. And that's actually a nice little pickup against him. So, not sure how exactly they started that, if he just happened to wander onto an Observer Ward, but they jump him, they bring him down. And this BKB can't come soon enough for the Troll. Theolicor exchanges his punch and his snowball. Playing little games and just daggering out. Glimpse forces the Rage out of K1. And that might get him away with the Kinetic Field. Didn't kick in time. The Rage lasts quite a long time. But in the end, Disruptor still keeps his distance. I mean, look at where they're at right now. Like, think about how SG are playing this game. They're like, okay, well, you know, they have to be defending top. They have to be defending bottom. They can't be everywhere at once. Let's kill them. And they do. They prevent Rage coming through. Static Storm on the Lifestealer. And while there will be a Song of the Siren, I'm not sure it gets either of them out. A lot of damage coming in onto Moose. He barely gets the TP off. Macropyre, Ice Path, some good damage, even if there's no kills. And they do just slip through. The Naga, the Lifestealer, all fine. And the only one that ends up going down is the one who didn't even have to be there, Masoku. He just considered the option of, oh, there's a Song of the Siren. Let's do the Song of the Siren things. Macropyre, Ice Path, Dual Breath, all the spells go out. It hurts. It burns. But the only kill is the one who didn't need to be there in the first place. But yeah, it's just, SG are really not afraid because they know that they're winning on one front no matter what. They're winning on a push, or they're winning by being able to isolate a target. They almost killed the Lifestealer there. I mean, they're taking shrines, they're taking map control. They're just feeling very comfortable right now. 3 heroes at the top of net worth. Death Prophet and Lifestealer, Dragon behind. This Tide does have Pipe and Force Staff now, but still in a rough spot. I think the one thing that G-Pride have to be happy about is the fact, oh, just opening up, putting some good damage in. Battle Trance kind of wasted, but not the longest cooldown in the first place. So I think the one thing that G-Pride do have to take in stride is that there are no BKBs out yet, which is a really big deal against their lineup. A lot of their heroes are very hindered by BKBs. If you're caught inside the Song of Siren, you're just spamming your BKB, you're going to be able to get it off before you get caught by Ice Path or Ravage or anything else, really. And that means that you are going to be able to fight. Right now, the BKBs aren't there yet. Tiny working on his BKB, Troll Warlord working on his BKB, but those are in progress and not in play. So G-Pride really need to make their next pair of ultimates count. Oposa gets caught by the Ensnare, has a Pike. Will he be able to get out of this one, though? He's just right-clicking onto K1. Nice little Ice Shards, gives him distance. But in the end, it looks like he's going to lose at least the Aegis here. But they have the reinforcements coming in. If they commit to the Aegis, they lose everything else. Just going to go for the Snowball onto the Jakiro. Song of Siren finally coming through, but the Aegis brings the Nature's Prophet to full HP. Macropyre, Ice Path combo coming through. The Silence as well. Exorcism popped, and Chris Brown is looking to finish off a lot of targets here. But the Hurricane Pike breaks that Spirit Siphon. Gets him some distance here. Gets caught by the Ice Path in the end. Oposa very low indeed. Can't get himself out of this one, and even the Disruptor is now being pursued. Goes for the Kinetic, but caught by the Yules, and that's going to be a death onto him as well. This is what we needed. This is what G-Pride were looking for. Making use of their ultimates before the BKBs come out, and they certainly did that. Committing even the Ravage to bring down this Tiny, and it looks like that will be successful. So, they're able to bring down 4 heroes, everybody but the Troll Warlord here. And while that does mean that Troll will be able to farm up his BKB, this is a massive swing back in the direction of G-Pride. This is where they need to be at. Now we see that SJ are only 4,000 net worth up on the opposition, and experience is actually now favoring G-Pride significantly. This is absolutely what they needed. They set back the Tiny's BKB. They get a key fight. They get key towers. And down bottom, we just see a little bit of back and forth. Troll Warlord, in the end, just makes its way back home. Not able to pressure out the lane. Nature's Prophet almost gets him, but the Wrath of Nature hits him a little early on, and Masoku will live with 280 HP. Oh, what's this? What's this? Greedy. Greedy. Chris Brown gets his Aeon Disc popped, but he's not getting out of this one. No chance in hell. So, that was a window that was really good for G-Pride, but what could they do next? The BKB is now up for the Troll Warlord. 40R, about 900 gold off of his. The game has changed a lot in the past few minutes. And I'm not sure it's for Dire's better. BKB now up for Leposa. 3 BKBs about to come through, and when those BKBs come out, half of G-Pride's output just means nothing. Exorcism damage still going through. Ensnare and Mirror Image right clicks. The Lifestealers right clicks. Anchor Smash, that all goes through. But the big controlling abilities are useless. Okay, Lifestealer can't even get his Rage off. Will just be killed off within the Static Storm. Does try to feast on the Tiny. It almost works, but in the end, just gets kited out with the Walrus Punch and killed off. And that assist gold will put Tiny very close to his final item pickup. Probably just sells the bottle at this point. Going for the high ground. Going to commit. 2 BKBs available. All they have to do is dodge this Ravage. As soon as the Ravage comes out, pop the BKBs, and they are golden. But Costabile pops his early 10-second BKB. Now on cooldown, and they're not fighting with it. They're resetting. They force out the Exorcism, and they're happy with that. So, okay, we got one ultimate. Let's see the next one. Could go for a Yule's play here. Trying to flank out of vision, but in the end is seen. And not really in a really good spot to start that fight anyways. Fishies keep swimming. They're going to swim back to their owner, and from there, a lot of the damage of G-Pride is unavailable. They get the Lifestealer back, though. They wait out his death, at least. And the Static Storm is now back up as well. Can they find anybody? That's the question. BKB back up in 18 seconds. A regroup needed for SG Esports. Chinese BKB does end up selling his Magic Wand, and the BKB is now en route. Smoke. This is a key smoke timing. They need something. They need it very badly. Still, Troll and Furion both have BKBs. And Roche is up. Very critical that they find something here. Troll in the pit. Tiny's Black King Bar now in inventory. And they are moving together. Leposa gets caught out, has to pop his BKB, but still tanky enough to really fight through all this. It's going to be a big Static Storm. No! He gets Force Staff out. It's a whiff! Song of the Siren comes through. They're trying to kill off the Siren to release the Radiant from her sweet song. The Ravage pumped a couple of times with a BKB on 40R. It's not worthwhile. It's only going to hit the Olikor, who's dead to rights anyways. Buyback from the Naga Siren. They want this fight. They want to do anything they can to get this Roche back within control. And Grady does grab out that Geometry Sight. Rough position to be in, but they have waited out the Exorcism, and I think that's the key. The Song of the Siren will be back up in 85, but the more important is to cool down this Exorcism back up in 10. They just need to heal up, regroup. But their lanes are pushed out. It's harder and harder. Down bottom's being pushed in. Down up top is being pushed in. And this will give them Roche. Just the rat will give them Roche, essentially. These Treants just keep on pushing in every single lane, putting in little bits of damage here and there, while you know, the fastest right clicks from Tiny's ever seen go right on through. All right, and Prowler Shaman gonna get isolated here if they can just get the Lifestealer. Nice little Sprout play there. And that should set them up for a glimpse. Glimpse back to the Lifestealer. No, he's glimmered. They can't see him. They're trying to glimpse him, but that Glimmer Cape just lasts a little bit too long. They see him now, but it's useless, and they just go on the high ground, tossing back, and setting up a Ravage. No, the Static Storm, he forces out again! Now they're just going in. BKB is a fly-in, resetting his position once more. What is happening in this fight? They just try to disengage. They go for some good right clicks. They avalanche, they drop the axes, and in the end, nothing goes the way they wanted to. Disruptor glimpsing the Tidehunter from a nearly dead position back to just where they didn't expect him. The Tidehunter doesn't even expend Ravage, just the Exorcism, and SG backs off. Little bit of a miscommunication. Octarine Core now up for Death Prophet, but I want to talk about a different item. I want to talk about Misoku's Glimmer Cape. You know, he's made a few interesting plays. You know, trying to go for a kill here, you know, nearly TPing into this twice, but that was the most important Glimmer Cape of the game. Using that Glimmer Cape on the Lifestealer when he was here with his Rage on cooldown. He was used his Infest, he used his Rage, he had nothing left. If he was visible to the Disruptor, he's glimpsed, he's dead. But instead, he's able to be glimmered, 4 seconds pass, and he's able to reset his position where he can't be pulled back into the fray. That is absolutely a dead lifestealer if that Glimmer Cape didn't come out the second that it did. So very, very important usage from Masoku there. Usually we always talk about the magic resistance of Glimmer Cape because good players will have detection, right? They'll have sentries, they'll have a gem or a dust in play, and they won't get fooled by the invis. But there are plenty of situations where that invis can still be handy for these either like micro initiations, or in this case to prevent such a critical spell as the Glimpse from catching out their most vulnerable hero. Octarine Core, obviously, the big benefit here is that they have less of a time window that their Exorcism is down. It's 108.75. But more importantly, it's the spell lifesteal. All of these spells, healing up the Death Prophet makes her very difficult to kill. She's stalking. She has the Yules. She has lots of ways to kind of make sure this Tusk gets caught, but she needs to cancel the Blink first, and that's what she'll do. Snowball. Can he blink out of the Snowball? He does. Tusk blinks out of the Snowball, gets to the south, and just drops down another set of Ice Shards. Yeah, the Tide wants to go on his Wild Goose Chase, but the end result is that he is the one left out, and his top lane is getting absolutely obliterated. Actually going to be Naga Siren almost getting killed off before she got the Song. She's going to be able to TP back safely, and the X-System does come out, but the Tide has been completely cut off from his teammates thanks to the Glimpse. Up top here, Nature's Prophet does finish off the Jakiro, looking to finish off the Barracks, but Greedy has reconvened with his team and now has a Lifestealer inside. They have to use his Exorcism. They have a few more seconds on it, and they need to find somebody. But right now, it's SG picking and choosing their battles. They lost Jakiro, they lost some HP on the racks, and they almost lost their Naga. Going in, nice Ravage, nice Infest Bomb. Can Chris Brown clean this up? Going in hard with the damage from his Exorcism, but it just finished. He doesn't have any more spirits to expend, and he is just not doing enough. Oh my goodness, perfect timing for SG, as now the Nature's Prophet claims the top racks, and the Troll Warlord just goes and pounds away at the Tide Hunter. Even as he is about to fall, the Yules does not finish him, and he's got the Aegis the entire time anyways. So now Chris Brown finished off. It's gonna be game, boys. There's gonna be a buyback here from K1. He wants something, he wants anything, but he gets caught inside the Static Storm and can't rage out. He just gets tossed up, he's gonna get killed. Finally, the rage comes through. The Aegis gets popped, but what's happening in the base the whole damn time? That's right, Nature's Prophet, right-clicking your buildings and winning Dota 2. He took the top lane with only one hero defending. He took the mid lane with absolutely no resistance, and now the top lane is forfeit as well. They have done it. They have killed off 6 heroes, only losing Tusk and the Aegis, and now they have claimed all 3 lanes of Rax. Triple kill, perhaps an Ultra, for the Troll Warlord as the game comes to a close. 36 minutes, 50 seconds, 26,000 net worth. That's what SG Esports brought to the table here for a 2-0 victory over G-Pride. My goodness, what a game. SG really just, if you really want to think about like global positioning in Dota, you think like that's one of your issues where you're just like, okay, I'm not thinking about, split push. I'm not thinking about which lanes need to go, which direction. This is where you watch SG Esports perspective, and you think, okay, what information do they have, and what are they doing with it? Saying, okay, if these 2 heroes are here, if these 3 heroes are here, what can they not defend against? What is their most vulnerable position? Oh, it's top lane. It's tier 3's getting pushed out. They can't do anything about it. You think, okay, well, they're all 5 together. They're very dangerous, but their base is getting pushed in. What are they going to do? They're going to walk away, try to TP out of vision. What's your job? Pekko, glimpse, glimpse, glimpse. Look for an opening there. Isolate somebody, kill somebody, and control the map again. And I just think that SG really had their heads in the right spot for this game. I kind of do feel like the Troll Warlord was a bit of a meme pick. They're like, oh, we got a Tiny, we got a Nature's Prophet. Let's make their lives miserable by giving them a global attack speed buff and just a good, hard carry that goes Battle Fury and then BKB. I don't know. I think that this game was hard from the get-go from Gorillaz. This matchup was hard from the get-go, but I do think that SG played this so intelligently. The way that they had their vision, their intel, and the way that they used it to move across the map and to always have a secondary objective was just inspirational. I think it was really showing what they're capable of as a team. And these strategies, sure, they do really well against lower tier teams, but those kinds of moves and those kinds of strategies could very well like be a big difference maker at a LAN. I actually think that they could. You know, we've seen them upset like Team Secret and Best of One. I could easily see them beating a Tier 1 team with the kind of movement they showed in this game. Even though, obviously, there were a lot of other factors involved, I think that SG Esports blew me away with this very incredible showing of skill and game knowledge, and I got to be impressed. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this matchup here. Presumably, we're going to be going into the next match, which will be the winner of these two matches, SG Esports and Midas Club. But we'll have to check it out and see exactly what's in store, when they're going to be running that schedule, and how long we do have a wait. So thank you guys once again for tuning in here to Group B, Round 1 of the MDL South American Qualifier for the Changsha Major. I'm myself, M. Blaze. You can follow me at BlazeCasting. Thanks once again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.